Ms. Sylvia, thank you so much for sharing your talent with us and being led by God to learn such a gift. And so we appreciate you so much for all that you do at the All-Day Youth Center, for giving back for so many years to those persons who come and visit the center. So thank you so much. The very first day I met you, you've been a blessing since then. So y'all give her a Today, I'd like to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Ms. Jenna Dyson. She's with NAMI, which is the National Association of Mental Illness. And so many people wonder all the time why, you see me around a lot of things dealing with homelessness or mental health issues, because half of my career has been spent in working with those individuals that are either homeless or dealing with some type of mental illness. And many of you know, every year I say that Ms. Claire Chanel was my boss, and she hired me many years ago to work for MHMRA, and that was one of my major jobs that I had, was to help those particular individuals get back to a level of functioning in society when you have been diagnosed with a mental illness. But one of my biggest challenges was when you had someone, when I was promoted and I did the Texas Algorithm Medication Project, we're working with those individuals who all of a sudden late in life they develop a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. And so majority of the people, the patients that I saw, was those individuals who was already in their career life. They were either doctors, engineers, lawyers, and they would come sit before me and they lost basically every capacity that they know to their professionalism, and they had to literally start all over again in a job that wasn't anything what they went to school for. So mental health is so important to me, and so that's why I just want to thank Ms. Dyson for all that you do for NAMI and all the wonderful things that is coming. And I know that dealing with mental health challenges are just that, they're challenges. But thank you for organizations like this, City of Houston, and partnership, that we can give people another release from life about developing training to be able to get their particular training needs met and to get back into society. So therefore, I would like to introduce to you our keynote speaker, the Executive Director of NAMI of Metropolitan Houston, Ms. Jenna Dyson.
My name is Jenna Dyson, and I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Metropolitan Houston. I'm also a daughter, a mother, a sister, a PhD candidate, and someone that has struggled and lived with depression and PTSD. If you would have told me today that I would have been standing on this side of the table as an Executive Director of a mental health advocacy organization, I would not have believed it. Because you see, it was a few years ago when I myself was living in my closet, afraid to come out, afraid to face the world, afraid to face myself, because I was hurt and I was angry. I want you to close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to walk down memory lane with me. It was December 14th, 1996, when my Great Depression hit. That was the day that my mother lost her battle to cancer. You see, growing up, I grew up in a single-parent home. Both hard-working parents. My dad was an alcoholic, so I learned at an early age how to be a caregiver. I learned at an early age how to drive because my father would pass up drunk and he would need to get places, so I would be the caretaker and drive. So at 14, when my mother passed, I had nowhere to go. So with minimal support, I found it somewhere in me, thanks to the grace of God, to keep moving forward. What I realized at 14 was, if I excelled, nobody would pay attention to me. So my addiction became overperforming, becoming a perfectionist, because the good kids don't pay attention. So if I went to school every day, even though nobody told me to go to school, I didn't have a parent tell me. If I made good grades, if I excelled in sports, then no one would know that I was hurting inside. No one would know that I hated myself, I hated my life, I was angry, and I was in pain. At 17 years old, I got diagnosed with depression. And my family laughed at me. My father, being an ordained minister at this time, successfully recovering from alcoholism, said, pray about it, and you'll be okay. So guess what? I prayed, but the depression never lifted. The harder I prayed, the harder it came. So I worked extra hard to really excel and focus. I got a scholarship to the University of Texas for academics and athletics, and went to school well. I was doing what I had always done, and that was excelling. And then one day I realized, this is too much pressure for me. I can't do this. You see, I never had time to grieve the death of my mother. You know, at 15 years old, my mother died at 14. At 15, I became the caregiver of my niece. I had an older sister that was kind of all over the place, and she had a 2-year-old daughter, so I became the caregiver of a 2-year-old at 15. So I never had time to grieve. My focus was just trying to go to school, help take care of my niece, doing well, so nobody would know that I was hurting. So I went to UT, doing extremely well, and then guess what? My friend called depression came back. I stopped. For months, one whole semester, I lived in my closet, which resulted in me failing. I failed classes, lost scholarships. My world was over because I knew that if I got kicked out of UT, I didn't have a home. That college dormitory was my home. But thank goodness that there was mentors and there was people out there that grabbed me by my arms and said, you can make it. You can do it. As the song we just heard says, never give up. That was the message that they told me. I got a mentor that worked in mental health. Lo and behold, I finally embraced my own depression. I realized that I wasn't alone. In fact, that this put a name to the craziness that I felt. This put a name to everything that I'd gone through. That it was okay. It was okay to need help. It was okay to seek therapy. I found a mentor who encouraged me, who helped me to acquire the skills that I needed to be successful. I obtained 2 degrees. I was awarded an award from the government of Texas for caring. And here I am now, standing on the other side of the table, where I can advocate for individuals like me. So I'm standing here today as the face of mental illness, encouraging those that have challenges, whether they're physical or mental, that you too can make it. Never give up, never give in, and never give out. And I'm standing here today to my colleagues that have the ability to hire people and mentor people and give people the skills that they need to be successful. Give back. Give back what has been given to you. I realized a long time ago that this life that I have, the person you see today, it's not about me. I was just the vessel that was chosen to go through the journey. But my real calling and my real ministry in life is to serve and give back to others. And that's why I'm here today, to encourage each and every one of you that's in this room today to focus on your purpose, to identify why you are here, and to give back to others. Because guess what? Somebody could have counted me out a long time ago. Someone could have said, because your mother died, because you came from an alcoholic family, because you were abused as a child, that you would end up on drugs and gangs, teen pregnancy, you wouldn't have graduated from the University of Texas, you wouldn't have a master's, you wouldn't be standing here as a PhD student and as a single parent. You would not have become an executive director of a state mental health agency at 27, as well as being the first African American in the country. Someone could have counted me out, but because I had people around me that believed in me and supported me, I am standing here today. And I encourage each and every one of you here to, as the song stated, to keep the dream alive and to make sure that you're giving someone else the tools and skills that they need to be successful. I'm going to close with this favorite quote that my mom always told me, and I want you to think about this in your journey as you leave today. Regardless of where you go in life, always believe